Hey, guess what? I'm alive. It's Monday. Yeah, right, Monday. Yeah, okay. I gotta check, man. What do you want? You know I'm old. You all know I'm old. So I check. Okay? All right. I'm beginning to get read comments by people who I don't know, who have great reputations, and I have absolutely no personal contact with them at all, who are now coming along to my idea that Trump is governing by spur of the moment. And I've been saying stuff like that for about Trump for years, and nobody really pays attention because I don't have a lot of listeners or anything like that, and that's fine. I'm not looking for credit. Yeah, man, well, maybe I am, but what I'm amazed about is nobody ever sees the same things I see like that. It takes them longer to print it. Maybe they're just afraid of printing it. Whereas I have no fear because I got nothing they can take from me except my life. And if they want to do that, well, it's going to cost them. Oh, wow. Although right now I'm probably closer to death than I am to life. Having trouble breathing today. Might be the weather, might be the pollution, might be my brain cells deciding to say fuck it, but who knows. Anyhow, I just went through, it could be the fact that I just went through a really bad 2 days with Lucy. Lucy got very sick on Saturday evening, really. She spent Sunday, she threw up everything she had in her system. There was nothing left in her system whatsoever. Trust me. No pee, no food, no nothing. She didn't eat. She wouldn't eat. I couldn't get her to eat. I wasn't going to force her to eat. I gave her some medicine I had from something. One time before I read up on the medicine. The medicine was good for gastritis and stuff like that. So I gave it to her. And overnight, she slept a whole night very peacefully. Uh, and I think she's going to be okay. She ate. She's not throwing it up. Uh, she's happy. She's bouncing around again. Uh, you know, I'm hopefully she's going to be fine. But that's why I'm tired and everything. I just worry about her, because nobody else will. If I want to take her to the vet, I have to fight with people, and I hate that because if anything ever happens to her because of something I could have done that I didn't do, somebody's going to pay, and it's not going to be me. And that's just the way my life is right now, you know. So anyhow, as I'm sitting here talking and making no sense at all, which is normal for me, really. I think. I don't know, maybe not. But it seems like it's a normal thing for me. I just sit around and I talk and it make no sense. But that was one of the issues that I saw this morning, and I was happy to see that. I can't remember. I should write down the people who said these things in their article. But he's doing this mostly. The article was considering the what was going on inside the Capitol grounds and in Washington D.C. About Trump's doing his stuff that he's doing. He said, "Well, this will look good. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's how he did it. Yeah, let's do that. And that's the way he operates, and that's just stupid and uh, a lot of things. Stupid's just one of them, but it's really a lot of things. He's also along with that, the spur of the moment thing. He's turning DC into a Times Square-ish type thing. Gaudy. Just missing the flashing lights and the hookers. Got and then, well, they have a little bit more gold on the walls and everything like that. Stuff that graffiti will happen. The cops are going to spend more time writing tickets for graffiti and stuff like that now. But because it's going to be politically motivated now, because he's turning it into a partisan thing. The Democrats don't want it. The Democrats never. Most people just wanted it to be what it was. Most countries don't go around and rebuild their capitals in the image of somebody that's not going to be there again more than 2 years. He won't be there when it's finished. You know, do you think they're going to invite him back? I doubt it. You know, He's attacking freedom of the press. Freedom of the press has always been under attack. Now, I don't know whether you realize this or not, but people have always been criticizing. What we did have the right to do was we had the legal right to criticize these people. Now, if you're a Republican and you're quoted and you allow yourself to be quoted and somebody says something bad about it, they sue you. They have you arrested for whatever, and they go out and they persecute you until you can't think straight anymore. You know, that's not freedom of the press. That's just yeah, I don't know. That's authoritarian way of running things, which makes you believe. It's like I think it was George Carlin that said, we only have the appearance of freedom of speech and the appearance of freedom. We are owned by corporations and have been for many, many years, long, long time, since serfdom. You know what I'm saying? We just they just color it differently and cover it up, but we're owned by the corporations and the advertising companies and everything like that. We're not. We don't have free will, not to the extent that we might have had it at one time or another when we first started the country, but not now. It's an illusion. Politics is an illusion. Elections are illusions that you actually are making a difference. That's why a lot of people don't vote anymore because they've realized they're not making a difference. You know, that unless you can put a million people together and have them think the same thing, you're not going to get anything decided. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, that's not just here, that's everywhere. Now, Trump is saying it's unconstitutional to ask Congress to approve or disapprove a war. It's in the War Powers Act. The War Powers Act was declared was constitutional up until Flabby Jawls decided to open his mouth about it and say it's not constitutional. You have to understand Donald Trump. Donald Trump hates the Constitution of the United States because people use it to tell him what he can and can't do. And he doesn't like to be told that. All right. So he doesn't like the Constitution, especially if it says something he doesn't want it to say. Then he just disagrees with it. You know, he is one man that's turning around and taking this country and trying to bend it to his will. And he's beginning to crack. He's beginning to crack, and his power is beginning to crack, and that's going to cause some conflict and some problems down the road, I would imagine. I'm not 100% sure of that, you know. But I just checking the time. Sorry about that. But that's a huge problem. One of the things I talked about in the video I just finished was J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is considered the odds-on favorite to be the Republican candidate at this moment for Republican candidate for president in 2028. There are some signs that there might be some deterioration in that thought pattern. Questions like Trump asked some of his colleagues or something, did he think Mark Rubio could be a good candidate? I don't know enough about Mark Rubio to know if he's stupid enough to be the president. Okay, because you can't be a smart man and be the president. Donald Trump is an example of that because he's not a smart man. Donald Trump has been a crook most of his life, and I've always said this: you don't get rich being 100% honest. It's very difficult. I'm not saying you can't want to be. I'm not saying you don't want to be charitable, but they just tell you can't do it. Your financial advisors will tell you can't give all that money away. Because you're going to end up, getting screwed someplace along the line on the rest of it or whatever's left. Because when you start giving a lot of money away, they start looking at what you've got and how did you get it, and did you pay taxes on that? You know, best way to do charity is you just sign it off before you get it. Sign the money over before you get it. That way you're not affected by it. You don't get a tax write-off, but you also don't get investigated for it, you know. And that's a big thing these days, investigating you, you know. I don't know whether that's a I don't know what you can investigate against Vance. Vance is just a moron. You know Vance. You know he's the one that sat around and said that it's called Donald like Hitler, and then and I said this before, probably in this video. I don't remember anymore. I'm getting I'm just so fucked up. Anyhow, the the deal is that Vance is not that well liked, and you can see in the world of diplomacy, he's not that well respected. He hasn't been able to pull off any kind of deal, even with Trump in the background. You know, Jared's got more authority in those negotiations than JD Vance, and he showed his temperament when he sat there and he sat up and he gave this nasty face and said that Zelensky wasn't showing enough respect. That's Trump's policy. Trump gets that deal from when he saw little Kim in North Korea talking to the proletariat, and they were all just sitting there stiff as a board. And Trump said, see how they respect him? That's not respect, dude. That's fear. If they cough, they could they could end up losing that seat and be out in the street next week, you know? They could be in a bread line and by the time the next meeting comes around. That's just the way things are over there. That's a different story. That's a totalitarian authoritarian regime. That's not respect. Respect is something that's earned through your words, through your actions, and how people feel about you. And I don't know a lot of people than poor people that look up to Trump and say, "Wow, man, that man's rich. Look how rich he is. Wow," and they somewhat respect him because he's rich. Rich people, you still have to earn that respect through your actions. If you're a scumbag like Trump, then you don't have to respect him. I have no respect for him. I have no respect for him as the president of the United States. I have no respect for him as a businessman. I think he's been proven more times than he operates his businesses like the mafia. Okay, the mafia did back in the old day. I'm sure they still do it today. Not as much anyhow. They would go in to supposedly help a local businessman or something like that, and they would go in and they would take his business, and they would start selling off all his assets and use it to and put their or give their assets away. Said they sold them, they did, but take the amount of money and give themselves dirty money and to turn it into clean money, you know. And the next thing you know, the company's got no assets or anything like that, so they file bankruptcy and they lose. Everybody loses, except I mean, Trump did it with casinos, and everybody lost money except Trump. Donald Trump didn't lose a dime on casinos because of his bankruptcies, because of what he did. How in the world do you lose a casino? By making it too opulent and making it an unhealthy atmosphere. I went to the Taj Mahal, and I've told this story many times. I was only there twice, and late at night because I was gambling at resorts, making money. You know, we decided to go someplace else because it was getting late, and all our friends were leaving, so we went over there. And you sit down at the table there, and you are in a position where you are automatically in a depressed area. As you walk in, it's depressing. The lighting, for some reason, it's gaudy, but it's depressing. It's not brightly lit. There's not a lot of happiness going on. There's not a lot of music playing. There's not a lot of cheering or whatever. You go into the gambling casino and it looks like people are just, like they're ready to pull guns on each other. It's disgusting. These people are not, there's just a group of tables that are always, you have the casinos where the professionals play. And then you have the table on where the guys like me play. And I win money. I'm not a loser. I didn't lose money gambling. Trust me, I made money. Uh, in the overall scheme of things, at the end of when I left stopped gambling, I was ahead about $2,000 or $3,000. Had I lost money during that time? Yes, but I also won it back. And this is what I said: my net was 2,000 something dollars. Did it on football betting. My net was over $3,000 at the end when I was done. They went to the track. My net was again about $3,000, $4,000 because, but I spent it all having fun. That's right. Betting, buying drinks. Picking up women, stuff like that, having fun. So I came out of basically I came out of it the same way I went in, no money. But did I have money during it? Did I lose? No. I didn't lose it gambling. I spent it, but I didn't lose it gambling. But I am smart enough to realize that if you sit there and you play cards, statistically you're going to lose. You cannot win every time you play. Anybody that thinks that they're going to go in there and win every tournament they're in is crazy. I basically I learned that from watching the 60-minute special on Arizona Slim because he was the world's first a guy who filed taxes. I think he was the first one to file taxes and list himself as a professional gambler. So they did a special on him in 60 minutes. And he sat there and he told people, he said, I've been a millionaire at that point in time. I think he'd been, a multimillionaire twice. Won it and lost at gambling. If you're losing at gambling, you're not a good gambler because you have to be able to walk away. If you don't walk away, of course you're gonna lose. The odds are against you. It's like sitting here saying, Lucy, you feeling better now? Tails wagging. She's out here. Maybe she has to go out again. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that stuff. Maybe she isn't 100%, but we'll find out in a few minutes. All right. Listen, that's it. Monday's over. God, thank God. I'll be back tomorrow. Subscribe to my channel if you want to find out. My channel is Jeffrey Bruff. So, or at Jeffrey Bruff. I don't know which I have it several different ways, several different places. But anyhow, check me out. You can. My videos are there. You can look at all of them. I guess I don't know how that works. If you're on YouTube, you can access them. I guess I don't know. I don't know how that works. But anyhow, I don't really care either. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not making any money out of this. Trust me. But subscribe because you'll get notifications about like when I'm on the air and when I'm not. Or I just posted a video. If you don't want the notifications, you don't have to see them. You just click on it. No, don't show notifications. You know what I'm saying? All right, everybody. Absolutely nobody showed up today. Isn't that wonderful? It's Monday. You lucky bastards are still sleeping. All right, everybody. Take it easy. I will see you mañana.